Hello, everybody. Okay, so I was up all night last night doing research and trying to figure out what is going on for schools. Like, so many schools are planning to reopen, some have already reopened, and it's a huge deal. Okay, so I'm just going to go over some of these things. I'm going to go over all the states and all their requirements, and this is what your children are going to have to put up with going to school. Okay, so I mean, we've heard so many things about how schools are going to be with the restrictions and the rules, but let me tell you, it is going to be like prison for your children, and it is not going to be good. So I'm going to start with the schools, and we'll go down the list, and we will discuss what is happening. Okay, so we're going to start with Alabama. Alabama's rule, and when I go down this list, I will be discussing what their rules are for masks and what their rules are for like daily screenings and stuff like that. Okay, so we're gonna start with Alabama. Okay, masks are required for nurses and visitors. There will be daily temp checks for staff. Okay, Alaska, masks will be encouraged wherever possible. Daily temperature and symptom screenings for all. And at the end of this, after I get done with the list, I will tell you, we'll go over the screenings and all of that, okay? Arizona, masks will be recommended for all. Daily temp and symptom checks, sorry. Arkansas, masks. Students 10 and up will be required to wear a mask all day long, from the minute they get on the bus or get to school to the minute they leave school and get to home. They want your kids masked all day long. Daily screenings every day for students and staff. California, masks required for staff and students third grade and up all day long. So your 7, 8-year-old is expected to wear a mask covering their nose and their mouth all throughout the day, breathing in their own carbon dioxide, not getting any how crazy is that? But let's keep going. We'll talk about it at the end. Colorado, masks will be required for students 11 and up, required for staff if they cannot social distance. So Colorado, your students they will be required to wear masks all day if they're 11 and older, but the staff only has to wear masks if they cannot social distance. That seems crazy to me. It seems like they're more worried about protecting their teachers than they are their students. Connecticut, masks will be required for all when inside the building. They didn't have anything about temperature checks or screenings or anything. Delaware, masks required for staff and students grades 4 and up, recommended for pre-K through 3rd. It's totally insane. So from grades 4 and up, your kid will be required to wear a mask all day, and they will encourage kids who are from 4 years old up to 3rd grade that they wear a mask. Parents check temps and symptoms at home. Florida, required. We will set up a clinic for kids showing symptoms. We'll get to that at the end. Georgia, masks will be a personal choice. Good for Georgia. Hawaii, masks required for all outside of the classroom. Okay, daily health screenings. Idaho, masks recommended for all when practical. I'm going to say practical, that's never. Daily health check for all. Illinois, masks will be required for all ages 5 and up. Daily temp checks. Indiana, masks will be required for staff. Daily screenings for staff. Iowa, masks not recommended but will be allowed if it's a parent's choice. Kansas, masks required for staff and visitors and most students. Daily temp checks for staff. Kentucky, masks recommended or required depending on local virus transmission level. Daily temperature checks. Louisiana, masks required for all day. Daily screenings. Maine, Masks required for all ages 5 and up. Symptom screenings for all. Maryland, masks will be recommended but not required. Daily temp checks for staff. Massachusetts, masks will be required for grades 2 and up, encouraged for the rest. Michigan, masks required for all, daily temp checks. Minnesota, masks required for all, daily screenings. Mississippi, masks required for all, inside and outside. That's ridiculous. Can't even get some fresh air when you're outside. You got to be masked up all the time. Routine screenings. Missouri, masks recommended for staff only, daily symptom screenings. Montana, masks recommended for all, visitor temp checks. Nebraska, masks up to each school. So we didn't really get an answer for that. I guess it's up to each school, but we'll see. Nevada, masks recommended for all and daily symptom checks. New Hampshire, masks recommended, daily health screenings. New Jersey, masks required for staff and visitors and contact tracing. Now, New Jersey is the only school so far that has said that they will be doing contact tracing on their students and on their staff. Keep that in mind if you live in New Jersey. You might want to rethink sending your kids anywhere to school. New Mexico, masks required for all, daily temperature checks. New York, masks required for all, daily temperature checks and screenings. Thanks, Cuomo. North Carolina, masks required for all, K through 12 and teachers, daily temperature checks. So crazy to me that somebody wants your 5-year-old to sit in class all day long wearing a mask, covered up. It's so insane that people are even considering sending their kids to school when this is what is going on. Okay, so that was North Carolina. Now listen to this. North Dakota. This one's crazy, right? Masks recommended for all, but we will be testing the students for COVID. So North Dakota will be testing your children for COVID. And we all know that the COVID tests are nonsense and it's bullshit. And, do your own research into that. But I got to get through this list. But North Dakota will be testing students and staff for COVID. Ohio, masks required for staff and symptom screenings. Oklahoma, masks encouraged for all. Oregon, masks required for all day, screenings for everyone. We're almost done with this list, and then I got a couple things I got to tell you. Pennsylvania, masks required, symptom screenings daily. Rhode Island, masks required, on-site screenings. South Carolina, masks required for students who ride buses. South Dakota, masks recommended strongly, daily health checks. Tennessee, masks required for all staff and students in middle school and in high school, daily temperature and screening checks. Texas, mask required for staff and old enough students, whatever that means. That's right. There is nothing social about distancing yourself. It literally, if you go online and watch, there's a couple videos. I'll put some links down in the description below that I found last night. It literally looks like prisons. The way they have to walk down the hallway, they have to social distance. It's totally crazy. Okay, Texas, mask required for staff and old enough students. What does that even mean? Old enough? How old? What is the line there? How do you know? What is it like? Old enough students. When are you old enough to not be able to breathe in fresh air? Utah. Okay, Utah's a big one. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but all over the place. Utah, mask required all day for staff and students. In fact, if your child removes the mask at all throughout the day, uses the wrong color-coded bathroom, or walks down the hallway the wrong way, and this is students from K through 12. So this is 5 to what, 18. If they remove the mask at all, use the wrong bathroom, walk down the hallway the wrong way, or make a joke about COVID, they can be arrested and charged with a misdemeanor. Do you know that is 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine? They want to arrest your kindergartners for taking off a mask. Why would you ever consider sending your children back to school in this draconian age that we are in? It's craziness. I wouldn't send my kids back to any school, period. But if you live in Utah, you really need to say, am I doing this for the best interest of my child? Or am I doing this because, me and my husband or me and my wife work? You better figure out a plan. Unless you want your kindergartner or your second or third or fourth grader arrested for trying to breathe. Okay. Vermont, masks will be recommended for all staff and daily health checks. Virginia, masks will be required, daily health screenings. Washington, required for all staff, recommended for students, and daily health checks. We're almost done with this list. I know it's a long list. West Virginia, okay, for staff. Okay, required for staff and students 9 and up. Daily screenings. That's right. If you stand for nothing, you will fall for everything. That is so true. If you do not open up your mind and your eyes to see what is really going on, I don't know what to tell you. It's fixing to be too late. Wisconsin, mask required for all, daily temp checks. And last but not least, Wyoming, masks required. Now, these daily temperature checks, okay, I get what a temperature check is, but these daily health screenings, what does that consist of? What is the daily health screenings that they are going to perform on your child day in and day out? It's so crazy to me. It is like you're literally sending your kids all day to a child prison where they are being trained and brainwashed and just messed up into thinking that this is the way life is going to be. This is the new normal. No, that's crazy. It's your job as a parent to protect your child from stuff like this. It is your job as a parent to make sure that you are there and you are fighting and you are standing up for what is right for your kids. What do these screenings consist of? What are you going to put your kids through? Okay, there's a York Region District School Board. I'll put a link, like I said, to everything I'm talking about. I'll put a link in the description below. York Region District School Board, elementary schools. Parents who take their kids to school will drop them off at a designated area. Parents will not be allowed inside the school for any reason whatsoever. For pickup, parents must remain in their cars. Face mask required, 4th grade and up. Now, this school is, you're dropping your child off, okay, to this school. You're dropping your kid off outside. They're being taken in by a teacher, an aide, or something, right? You are not allowed in that building as a parent. You have no idea what's going on inside that school. You're just okay with just never knowing what's going on, never going inside your kid's school, just dropping them off and letting them go for the day. You might as well open your freaking front door and say, okay, go for the day. I'll see you at 3:00. It's ridiculous. I can't for the life of me figure out why anyone would send their children back to school at a time like this. Would you sacrifice your child for your job? Would you sacrifice your child for some time off? Would you sacrifice your child for a little bit of a break? That's something you need to deal with inside yourself, because that is what is happening. People are saying, okay, it's normal. Everybody goes to school. We have to send our kids back to school. Homeschooling is this. Homeschooling is weird. It's too tough. It's too expensive. Listen, this is for your children. Come up with a way. If you're low on money and you have to eat, you come up with a way to eat, correct? Okay, so come up with a way to homeschool your child. There's tons of places online you can go to and get used school books that people have used for programs before, and then they didn't write in them, so they send them, you know what I mean? They're reselling them. You can get them for very cheap. If it's about time, if it's about like you having to work, call a relative, call an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, somebody you trust, call somebody and ask them if they can tutor your kid while, or go through these homeschool your kids while you're working. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But sending your kids to school today is a freaking huge mistake. I mean, do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. I'll leave links in the description below to the videos that will show you what school is like. It is literally like prison. It's funny. The one video that I'm going to put in is it's a video of this back to school thing and how the day will look like for your kids. This one said that students will be required all day long to sit in one classroom, right? The teachers will rotate from room to room, but your kids sit in this little cubicle, this little box with their masks on all day, and students must request breaks for fresh air. They are allowed 2 breaks, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. But your student has to request it. They're not going to just say, okay, go out and take your break. I mean, it's so crazy. It is so insane that we're even having this discussion. I mean, schools have gone absolutely insane. And let me just point out that they are putting up detainment camps, FEMA camps, all over the place. Every state has some, you know, and they're going to take your children. Okay, so say your kid shows up and has symptoms, and like maybe they go to North Dakota and they test them for COVID and it comes back positive. They're not sending your kid back home to you. What they have the right to do is to take your kid to a separate facility for assessment, and they're allowed to keep them there for 14 days. Okay, so let's go through this. You take your kid to school one day. School calls you up. I don't even know if they call you up, but somehow they have to notify you, right? That your kid, that they have taken your kid, removed your child from school, taken it to this other place for screening, health assessment, whatever. And they've decided that, oh, okay, this kid's got COVID, or this kid's got these COVID symptoms, so we have to keep them here for 14 days in this undisclosed location that you know nothing about. So you take your kid to school, you get a call, you know, hey, we have detained your child. Your child is going through screening and assessment, and we have determined that your child is a carrier for COVID. So we will be keeping your child here for 14 days. You don't see your kid again for 14 days. And who knows what happens after that 14 days. If they keep, you know, we don't know. But there's a lot of information out there if you want to research it yourself. But I suggest you do I suggest you use your freaking head here. It is time to wake up. And if you are asleep, your children are going to pay. Your children are going to suffer, because sending them to school these days with the rules and the things the way they are is child abuse, and it should be. It should be. You should not put a mask on your child and expect them to wear it for 8 hours a day. That's crazy. Nobody should have to wear a mask and cut off their freaking air for 8 hours a day, let alone a 5-year-old child. You know, I mean, just please use your head. Please wake up. It is time to end this nonsense. Take off your masks. Throw them in the garbage. Because the CDC has already come out and said, oh, no, it's not 150,000 people that have died. It's only 9,000, which is only 6% of the United States. 6%. And this charade is still going on. Wake up, people. Take your masks off. Throw them in the garbage. Don't force your kids to wear masks, because it's crazy. It's nonsense. I mean, all for something that because somebody told you there was a virus. So you want to just sacrifice your kids and sacrifice your health and sacrifice your freedom. It's stupid. Now, I want to get this out there. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. So help us get there. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're trying to just wake people up and get information out there that mainstream is not going to tell you. We all know mainstream lies. The only thing mainstream news and the radio and anything you see on TV tells you is what they are paid to be able to tell you. I mean, come on. You have to go to outside sources. But yeah, I'm going to end this here. I want to get this out. That's right. The people have been warned, and nobody wants to listen. People want to say, oh, it's, that'll never happen. I mean, come on, you're a conspiracy theorist. Conspiracy theorist is a stupid word, first of all. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a truther. I look for the truth. I find the truth, and that's what I go with. Because I know that what they've been doing is lying to you for so long. They've been lying to all of us. I mean, God gave us all a brain. He gave us all a mind. All we have to do is use it. Cut off the bullshit. Shut your TV off because it's not doing you any good. Stop watching bullshit TV shows and movies. That's what it is. And look for the truth. Just wake up. Sorry, this makes me angry. Okay, so yeah, I want to get this. I mean, thank you. I agree. Thank you. But yes, please, I am begging you for humanity, for your children, for everything. Just, you gotta wake up. You gotta stop falling for their crap. You have to unteach yourself everything that they have taught you. And that's what you need to do to your children. Don't send your kids in to be brainwashed and trained to be freaking monkeys in a circus. It's not okay. We're all human beings. They're trying to take our rights away as human beings. We need to take them back. Okay, so that's it for now. I will try to come back on later because there's a lot more I want to talk about. But I got other stuff to do with the kids today. So stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe, and be smart. Use your freaking head. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.